All right. Well, thank you all again so much for taking time out of your day to join today and to learn more about both HQ Travel Group as well as the ways that you could potentially use your education award to fund an international experience. My name's Crystal. I'm part of the campus team with HQ Travel Group, and I'll take a moment to share more about our organization, about our programs, and of course, how you could use your Ed Award to go abroad. But before diving into all of the details, first and foremost, thank you so much to everyone for your service in AmeriCorps, whether you are a current member or an alumni, or if you're a program staff member, commissioner, um, a fellow supporter or champion of AmeriCorps. Thank you all so much for all that you continue to contribute to local communities all over the country. In a past role, I was also an AmeriCorps program manager here in the Twin Cities for Habitat for Humanity, so almost a decade ago. And I continue to be involved with and support AmeriCorps alumni as well. It's been amazing to get connected with folks and to hear more about their goals, their interests, the ways that they're hoping to get out and to have an international experience and the ways that it's impacted both them and the local community. So really rewarding and really excited to be here with you all today. So this is what we'll cover. I'll take some time again to share more about HQ Travel Group, as well as the different destinations and placement types that are available to you. And then, of course, how you can use your Segal Education Award to fund a global program. And then walk you through kind of next steps if it's something that you're interested in pursuing in the future. Just a note that you don't need to remember all of the next steps today. You are always welcome to get in touch after the call if you have any follow-up questions or if you'd like to do some brainstorming on programs that might be of interest. We're always happy to have those conversations as well. So HQ Travel Group is a New Zealand-based organization that connects folks with meaningful international travel opportunities all over the world. The way our model works is that we partner with local community organizations who are, of course, best suited to identify ways for you to get involved in a meaningful, ethical, sustainable, responsible way. And we act as that connection point between somebody who wants to go abroad and have that community-based learning experience with that local community organization. So we've been around since 2007. We've supported more than 155,000 people from all over the world joining our programs all over the world. We care deeply about community. As I mentioned, the way our model works is that we partner with those local community organizations. So we ensure that the programs that you are joining are centered in that community leadership, but also our programs are really open and welcoming to anyone who's interested in joining. This past year, we had folks from 125 different countries joining our programs in more than 50 countries around the world. So regardless of kind of age and stage in life, we have programs that are open to independent teens, families, students. Our oldest volunteer last year was 90 and kind of everywhere in between. So by joining one of our programs, you're also joining that global community of volunteers and interns as well. Around 90% of our travelers are doing so solo. And so even if you're looking to travel on your own, you're never alone. There's always somebody else on the program or that local community organization that's there to provide additional support and community to you. Positively impacting people and the planet is at the core of everything we do, and all of our volunteer projects align with and support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So making sure that they are responsible, sustainable, and impact-driven is important to us and to our programs on the volunteer side. And of course, on the internship side, focusing on the personal and professional development of the intern and developing those career readiness skills is something that we embed into the programs through an experiential learning curriculum where you have the opportunity to reflect on a weekly basis about the experience that you're having, as well as the kind of coaching, supervision, and mentorship that come with an internship experience. And finally, our programs are designed to be responsible. So we have policies and procedures in place to protect vulnerable populations and wildlife. We're committed to addressing the climate crisis, and 100% of our business operations are carbon neutral, and we invite travelers to offset their carbon if they so choose as well. We're also a certified B Corporation, which, if you're not familiar with that term, it's almost like a fair trade certification for a good, except it's assessing business practices. So we are externally monitored and audited every 3 years on a wide variety of factors, and that includes the ways that we responsibly operate with our local partners. Kind of a key difference between our volunteer programs and internships is the focus. So we offer placements in more than 50 countries around the world. We have around 300 volunteer projects in about 50 countries, as well as another 300 internships in another 20 countries, as well as remote opportunities. Our volunteer programs, as you've heard, are highly community driven. And so you are supporting community identified needs and initiatives, ways that you can give your time, your talent, your expertise, and offer that support. So you might, for example, apply for a teaching English volunteer placement, but you might not know the exact details of the community that you're supporting or the type of organization until you arrive. And that's because it's based on that community need, capacity, and a variety of other factors. So there needs to be a certain level of adaptability and flexibility, knowing that you can apply for a volunteer placement type, and then you'll find out the details likely when you arrive. The volunteer projects tend to be about half time, so 3 to 5 hours or so of volunteering in the morning or the afternoon, and then that leaves extra free time for you to get out and explore and experience the local community. We started on the international volunteer side again in 2007. And as time went on, we started to have more and more travelers interested in that full-time experience and the mentorship and coaching that come with a full-time internship or pre-professional experience. And so we launched our internships division in 2018. So those are full-time experiences. We get to know you, the candidate, before our local team secures that placement. And so you share your resume, your cover letter, your goals and expectations for the internship type that you're applying for. And then our local team taps into their network and sources an internship placement for you. But regardless of the type of program that you're interested in joining, our model of the way that we partner with the local communities is very similar. So we provide all of the pre-departure support leading up to your experience, and then our local team meets you at the airport, gets you settled into your accommodation. Meals are provided, they organize your placement. So they're there to provide that in-country experience and that support, most importantly, to you as well. Our programs are designed to be as affordable as possible. So we aim to make meaningful travel more accessible to more people. And how we're able to do that is keeping our fees low. So we do try to have modest accommodation that's comfortable, that's going to be clean, but it's not going to be five-star accommodation. That's a way that we're able to keep our fees affordable. And those costs are set by our in-country partners. So of course, your program fee covers all of the in-country costs to host you, but we do try to keep those fees as low as possible. And our volunteer programs start at $20 a day, including your housing and your meals. Our programs are designed to be flexible, so it's very much a choose your own adventure with us. You are able to apply for the destination you're interested in, the placement type. You choose your start dates. Many programs start every week, and so there's a lot of flexibility with when you could travel or participate. And then you also choose the duration. So it's not a specific set amount that you need to join for. Our programs start at 1 week. They go all the way up to 6 months. And so you get to decide for how long you are participating for. Most programs start every Monday, so volunteers or interns arrive the night before. Your housing's included that first night, and again, you're most often picked up at the airport that we recommend you fly into, so that the local team can get you settled. And then on your first day, the local team will organize a program orientation, so they can touch on health and safety, cultural norms, navigating transportation, what to expect on your placement, They'll give you kind of a walking tour of the area that might go over language lessons, really just setting you up for success when you arrive. So you know who to contact if you need anything. It's also a way to continue building that community with other volunteers or interns on the program. So we do want everyone to start on that selected start date so you can get to know other folks on the program. We have really robust health and safety practices that we follow with our local teams. So they undergo annual risk assessments. We work really closely on our emergency protocols and incident management, and we're really well connected and work closely with our local teams. So, by traveling with an HQ travel group program, you can feel safe and supported in doing so. So it's a way for you to get involved with the local community in a way you might not otherwise be able to as a tourist, and you can feel really confident that the accommodation is vetted, that you have somebody there if there's anything you need. So you can feel safe traveling even if you're going on your own. This just gives you a quick snapshot of the different volunteer placement types, so you can see that there's a wide variety of ways that people can get involved and support communities around the world. So again, you would apply for a volunteer placement type, and then the local team will identify where the need is greatest and the ways that you can make the greatest impact while you're in country. Most of our programs don't require a prerequisite, apart from medical and dental and health care, for example. If you're not licensed to practice here in the US, you wouldn't be abroad as well. And so it's very clear on the website whether there are any of those requirements before you get involved. But for most of the volunteer placements, the local team will offer that training and get you up to speed when you arrive. So you can see there's a wide variety of ways that folks can get involved on the volunteer side, as well as the internships. There's, 20 or more different career fields that are represented. And so if you're keen to get in more experience in IT or journalism and communication or architecture, I mean, there's quite a wide variety of ways that you can build those pre-professional skills. And honestly, regardless of which path you take, whether it's the international volunteer or internship program, you will gain global learning skills through that experience related to intercultural communication or critical thinking and problem solving, adaptability and resilience, teamwork, leadership. There's a wide variety of ways that you'll be able to grow through this global learning experience. And this just gives you a snapshot of where we have global programs. So anywhere that you see in green is where we have International Volunteer HQ programs, and anywhere in orange is where we have Intern Abroad HQ option. So again, it can feel really overwhelming to hear just the sheer number of opportunities available. So I always encourage folks to take some time to visit our website. We have some really great filter features where you can identify a destination or a placement type, an area that you're really passionate about. You can tick those boxes so it can help you to narrow your scope a little bit more, and you can then compare and contrast by budget. And if you have any particular requirements, you can also kind of tick those boxes too, so you can understand if, for example, you require halal food, you can tick that box and understand where that might be able to be accommodated. I'm always happy to hop on a call. Our team in New Zealand, you can always give them a call during business hours, which tend to be, if you're tuning in from the US, the afternoon or the evening. Our team is always happy to brainstorm different destinations with you. Again, with our local partners, we make it easy for you to have this type of meaningful experience abroad, and so we organize everything on your behalf. The program fee includes all of the pre-departure support provided by HQ Travel Group. So once you decide that you'd like to move forward with the program, you submit a registration fee or a deposit to secure your place for those specific dates. Depending on the program, they can reach capacity, particularly over the summer. So we always encourage folks that when you decide you want to move forward to take the next steps so that you can guarantee your spot. And that also unlocks your access to a full suite of pre-departure checklist items, online volunteer training, pre-departure orientation recordings. We have really detailed country guides, so any question that you have about a destination, it's likely covered there, but our program managers are also there to answer any questions that you have leading up to your time abroad. And then when you arrive in country, that's when you really get to know the local partner. So they, as I mentioned earlier, will meet you at the airport. They'll get you settled into your accommodation. They'll provide that orientation that I mentioned. Most importantly, they're there for that 24/7 emergency support if there's anything that you need. And then most programs include meals, but it really varies depending on the destination and the accommodation type. So if you're in a furnished apartment, you likely don't have a private chef, but if you're staying with a local homestay family, of course, you're invited to have meals with that local family. The accommodation is really going to vary. We have semi-permanent tents and eco lodges out in game reserves and near the beach. We have homestay families. We have volunteer or intern houses that are kind of set up like a hostel, so you have that shared space with other participants on the program. You can plan to share typically with a few other folks of the same gender, and then there's some common areas as well. If you would prefer to have that private space, a private room, or access to a private bathroom, that's possible on many of the destinations. It really just depends on the local team and if they're able to offer that for an additional fee. But that is one of the options that you can tick a box for and to see where a private room's available. Essentially, anything that you see on our website can be covered by the Education Award, and that includes private room accommodation upgrades. That just gives you a quick snapshot of who we are, where we have placements, the placement types, how we work with our local partners, and what's included in that program fee. I'll just mention when you're working through kind of your budgeting section of planning for your experience. Our volunteer programs, the program fee is due 30 days in advance, and our internships, they're due 60 days in advance. So I always encourage folks that if you're keen to use your education award to cover your international experience, get started as early as you can. At least a few months in advance would be ideal so that you have enough time to transfer your funds and so that you're not worried about meeting those deadlines. So I'll take some time now to share more about how you could use your education award to travel abroad. But first, I have a quote from Joseph, who just returned from spending a month in Greece on our sustainable textile volunteer program. It's really unique. It's only offered in Athens. But I just loved the imagery that he paints in his quote. So he says, Greece paved the way for an improved outlook I have on life abroad. The world is so vast, and Athens for me was this delightful maze of preserved traditions, sincere locals, and sentimental travelers. I would not trade any second I spent there for any other experience, genuinely. So this year alone, we've supported AmeriCorps alumni to travel to over 25 countries around the world. And so it's been really neat hearing the impact of the experiences and how they've benefited both the AmeriCorps alumni as well as the local community that they're supporting. Okay, the how it works. In order for you to access your education award, your Segal Education Award, you'll remember from your AmeriCorps training, it needs to be processed by a Title IV institution, which we, HQ Travel Group, are not. But we do have what are called School of Record partners, and that's a really common practice in study abroad where a provider like ourselves will work with an institution, a college or university, typically based in the United States, to process academic credit and to issue transcripts on behalf of the courses that we offer. So any volunteer or intern can choose to pursue academic credit and to add a course to their experience, and then they can receive that transcript from our School of Record partner. So, in order for this to be considered a study abroad program, you do need to pursue at least one academic credit. But you have the opportunity to choose the course, the format, and how many credits you're interested in pursuing. So I'll give you a little more information on the academics. I'll walk you through how to budget and how to identify the ways that you would like to use your education award. Ultimately, this is a benefit that you worked really hard for through your service program, and so you get to decide how you best want to use your Ed Award. For some folks, that means they spend a large portion of it on an expensive international flight that maybe they wouldn't otherwise be able to travel to that destination without this funding. For some others, they may choose to split their full year award amount into more than one experience. Or for some others, they're trying to go abroad for as long of a period of time as they can. So it's really up to you to decide how you best want to use your education award, and we're here to assist you every step of the way. And so I'll walk you through kind of what those next steps look like. Takeaway from today is that you do not need to remember all of these next steps. We're here to help. And if you're interested in moving forward, then we walk you through what the process looks like. So I will give you an overview, but don't feel like you need to be an expert by the time we leave the call today. Okay, so as I mentioned, you do need to pursue at least one academic credit, and you are enrolled as a non-degree seeking student with one of our two academic partners. So either Warren Wilson College, which is an institution based in North Carolina, or with the University of Montana. So the coursework is the same, and the cost is the same for the academic credit. So you can choose the course that you're interested in. We offer 10 different online 3 credit options. Or if earning credit isn't a goal of yours, then you can pursue as little as one, and that's based on the number of volunteer or internship hours that you complete, as well as some personal reflections, which of course we hope that by going abroad, you're reflecting about your experience anyway, so it's a good practice. But this just demonstrates what the cost range is. So to earn 1 to 3 credits, our costs start at $5.99 for that academic credit. You could earn a full semester's worth for just under $2,000. And so if you haven't attended undergrad yet, it's also a really affordable way to earn a high amount of upper division undergraduate credit that you can transfer into a degree. If you're already done with your undergrad and you're looking to pursue a grad program, just know that this is undergraduate level academic credit, so it wouldn't be a guarantee that it could transfer or support your degree. But I'd be happy to share the course syllabi and sample transcripts, all of that with you if you're interested in exploring that further. And then, oh, we jumped way ahead. I don't know how that did that. There we go. Okay, back to academics. So you also have the opportunity to choose which institution you would like to process your funds, and we work with them in 2 different ways, and it's ultimately up to you to decide what's going to be the best with your financial situation. So with Warren Wilson College, they have the ability to accept your education award funding in advance, and I can work with them directly on invoicing for your program fees, your academic credit, and enrollment. We can even work with our travel agent to book flights on your behalf, so you essentially don't need to pay anything or very, very little out of pocket in advance. If there is something like a background check or a passport cost that, we're not able to fund on your behalf, you can also be reimbursed by Warren Wilson. In order to do that, it involves quite a few different departments, people, time, and resource. And so the enrollment fee to be enrolled as that non-degree seeking student is higher with Warren Wilson than it is with the University of Montana, which is much more of a one-time transaction where you decide on your program, you pay for everything on your own in advance, the way a typical traveler would on our programs. And then once your program starts, you would be reimbursed by the University of Montana using your education award funding. And that typically comes in 2 equal installments, 7 to 10 days after your program starts and at the midpoint. If you're pursuing a shorter term program, 1 or 2 weeks, it'll likely all come in one reimbursement. But if you're going abroad for a few months, then it comes in those 2 equal installments. Either way, if you are being reimbursed by either institution, you get to choose if you have a physical check sent in the mail or if you go with a direct deposit option, and we connect you with their finance teams to help facilitate that. So in terms of budgeting, this just gives you a snapshot of what those enrollment fees look like. So again, with Warren Wilson College, it's Going to be higher at 1650 for the enrollment plus the 599 for academic credit. So 2249 is what you need to set aside out of your education award. Your ed award can cover those costs, but just in terms of your, kind of quick budgeting and thinking about that, that's what you would need to set aside for Warren Wilson. With Montana, the enrollment fee is 400, so quite a bit lower. But you would need to have the ability to pay out of pocket on your own and then wait for that reimbursement. So the 400 plus the academic credit, that's 999 that needs to be set aside. With a full year education award, folks can still go abroad for 6 months on that, or they can travel on multiple programs. So you can still do a lot with that education award, even after that enrollment and academic credit fees are paid for, simply because of the affordability of our program. So your education award, when we're working through kind of the budgeting piece, it can cover your in-country costs through the IVHQ or Intern Abroad HQ program fee. It can cover your travel expenses, so your flight, your passport, your travel insurance, visa costs, your background check. And then essentially any add-on that you see facilitated through our local partners. So if you wanted to go on a safari or climb Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, you could do that. Or if you wanted to visit Machu Picchu or the Sacred Valley in Peru, you could add that to your experience. You could get scuba certified in Belize. You could take language lessons. There's quite a wide variety of ways that you could create a bespoke or custom program for yourself. So if you're looking to book some of those experiences or excursions outside of HQ Travel Group, we don't have approval for those costs to be reimbursed. But as long as it's booked through us and through our partners and they've been vetted for that health and safety and risk management, then you can consider it part of your study abroad program. The bottom line is if you have at least $2,000 in funding, you can go abroad with it, and we're happy to help you do that. So again, what can your Ed Award cover? It can cover HQ Travel Group registration and program fees. It can cover the academic credit and enrollment fees through either institution that you choose, and it can cover those travel expenses and add-ons. So essentially, your whole program can be covered. If, let's say, you want to be in country a little longer, you're always welcome to pay out of pocket if your education award doesn't cover the full amount. So we can work with you on what that looks like. This is just a really quick snapshot of some of the destinations that AmeriCorps alumni have gone to this year. You'll see it's all over the world in Africa and Central and South America, Asia. We have people that are pursuing, I'd say about two-thirds so far are focused on the global community engagement, service learning, volunteer programs, and about a third are focused on that professional development that they get through an internship and can support their resume and their future career. But it's been really neat to connect with alumni and to hear kind of their goals for the program and the type of experience they're looking to have. It's really up to you to decide what's going to be the best fit and how you're going to best learn from this experience, what you're going to gain from it. This is another quote from Joshua, who used his education award not only to volunteer in Cusco, but also to visit Machu Picchu in the Sacred Valley and to take Spanish language lessons. He said, "My time in Cusco was amazing. I'm very thankful to my time in AmeriCorps being able to fund this trip. I met so many people from around the world, developed my competency in Spanish, and had a fulfilling experience growing my teaching practice abroad with the wonderful children in Cusco." In terms of next steps, I think the most challenging part of this process is deciding where you want to go and the type of experience you want to have, simply because there are so many opportunities out there, and it can be a challenge to decide what's going to be the best fit. But regardless of what you're passionate about, what you're interested in, what your goals are for the experience, we're confident there's a good program for you. So step one really is to visit our websites and to explore what your options are and to identify which program is kind of piquing your interest. Once you do find a program, you can submit a free application online, and there's no commitment at that stage, but what it does is connects you with the program manager who oversees that destination, and they can answer any questions that you might have, or if you're trying to decide between this option or that, or you're building out your program, they're expert resources for you. So explore your programs, decide, where you want to move forward with. At the very least, what you need to know at the time of application is the destination, the placement type, the start date and duration. It's all, movable. So if you're still kind of making your plans known, that's not an issue at the time you apply, but that will be asked at the time of application. I always encourage folks to make sure that they make a note that they are an AmeriCorps alumni or looking to use their education award to cover the cost so that we can then be connected and make sure that you're following all the right next steps for your award to be transferred to either institution. I mentioned that you are enrolled as a non-degree seeking student through either Warren Wilson or the University of Montana. We give you the credit application to do that. It takes about a minute to submit, so it's really simple and straightforward. And they just collect the information they need to create a student account for you so that AmeriCorps has a place to send those funds and the institution can accept them on your behalf. So once you've kind of worked through your plan for where you want to go and what you want to do, and you've worked out your budget and how much of your award you're planning to transfer, you would log on to your AmeriCorps account to submit that payment request. Again, we give you all of the steps of even how to log into your AmeriCorps account. So we make it really easy for you. So you don't have to remember all of that, but just giving you that quick high level overview. And then you get ready for your experience. So again, we have really detailed pre-departure checklists and country guides and online trainings. We want to make sure that you feel as prepared and supported as possible throughout the experience. So you'll work really closely with our program managers leading up to your experience. And then again, when you arrive, that local partner takes it from there. For each AmeriCorps member or alumni, because everybody's trip is going to be different. Everybody's program is going to be different. Folks have different education award amounts. We share a custom planning guide with you. So that again includes all of the next steps. It's fully editable and custom to you. And so you just let us know that you're interested in using your Ed Award and we share this guide with you. So as you're working through your budget, you know exactly how much funding you have available and exactly how it's being used. So at that point, you can decide if you want to make changes to your program so that you can optimize how you're using your award, or if you want to, put more towards the flight and less towards a program, or vice versa. This is a way for you to be able to do that. And again, it walks you through all of the next steps and all of the required documents. With that, so we share that with you at the stage that you're interested in moving forward. If you're on the call and you're interested in receiving one of those guides, you can scan this QR code and I'll follow up with you after the presentation. If you're on a phone and you can't scan the QR code, you're also welcome to simply send me an email and I can share a custom planning guide with you after the call. Okay, I'll walk through some FAQs. Again, please feel free to continue using the chat if you have any questions. But some frequently asked questions that we've seen over the years are what if I've finished my degree and I'm not planning to transfer credit? Do I still need to participate in the course? And the answer is yes, you do need to pursue at least one of those academic credits and one of our courses in order for this to be considered a study abroad program and for you to access your education award. But again, you can choose the course topic that you're interested in and the credit amount, so you still have that ownership over it. And it's not live session, so if earning credit isn't a goal of yours, the assignments are pretty minimal. So it's really up to you to decide, but you do need to pursue at least one of those credits. I have 2 education awards. Can I go on 2 separate experiences and take the same course twice? Yes, that's been approved by our partners, the academic institution. So you're able to take the same course more than once. So if you want to travel to more than one destination, that's certainly possible. Even on a full year education award, you could go to more than one place. based on the affordability of our program. So that's all possible. I have somebody who's planning 3 different destinations in the next 3 years, which is really exciting. So, yeah, you can certainly do that. It's just how much funding you have available and how you want to best use it. I love the idea of traveling, but don't want to go alone. Can I bring a friend or family member along with me? Absolutely. As you've heard throughout this presentation, our programs are open to anyone. And so, of course, your education award can only cover your costs, your travel costs and in-country costs, unless you're 55 or older and can transfer some to a dependent. But you're absolutely welcome to bring a friend, a partner, a sibling, a child, your family with you, friends. It's been really fun to hop on some calls with families or to with friends that are planning trips together. So we can certainly do that. Or even if you have a small group of people, we can organize something bespoke or custom to you. So you can absolutely travel with others. Can I visit more than one destination using the same education award payment request? And with that, do I need to pay that enrollment and academic credit fee more than once? The answer is you can absolutely visit more than one destination on the same itinerary. So let's say you want to go to Thailand and Laos or Cambodia on the same trip and do back-to-back programs. That's absolutely possible and fine to do on the same AmeriCorps payment request as long as it's part of, like I said, the same itinerary. So I have somebody who's returning this week from Tanzania and Victoria Falls. She did back-to-back programs, and there was a small discount on that second registration fee with IVHQ. So just know that you still need to pay that registration fee more than once to secure your place on the program. But if it's all part of the same study abroad trip, then you only need to pay that academic credit and enrollment fee once. Now, if you have, say, a couple months in between when you're looking to travel on one destination to the other, then you would need to pay that course fee more than once because at that point you'd be in different academic terms. So the timing's just really important if you're looking to do that, but it's definitely possible and something a lot of folks are doing. What if I'm currently serving but have a partial award from a previous term? Can I pay some now and some later? Yep, we have folks that are doing that so that they can secure their place in the program and can move forward with the planning. You can certainly pay for some now, and then when your additional funding comes in, you can finish the payments later. You can honestly, if you're a current AmeriCorps member and you're not finishing your program for some time, you're still welcome to get started with this process. You can search for the placement that you're most interested in. You can submit that application. You can even pay that registration fee or deposit to secure your place and guarantee your spot because in particular over summer, some of our programs do reach capacity and they fill. So you can always do that and then be reimbursed once your education award funding is available. So you can get started anytime. We always encourage folks to plan at least a few months in advance if possible. In particular, if you're looking to have your award processed by Warren Wilson, simply because it can take, a few weeks from the point you submit that AmeriCorps payment request for the funds to make their way to the institution, and then a few weeks for them to make their way to us. So you just want to make sure that you have enough time in advance to plan. And that said, with the Montana route, if you're looking to pay for everything up front and get reimbursed, I have folks that are traveling within a couple of weeks, and that's been just fine. So the sooner the better, but if you're looking to travel soon, that's okay too. Just know that if you are a current AmeriCorps member, it can take a few weeks from the moment that you exit your program for the funds to show up in your account. And the education award is meant for future education costs, so it's important that you've been able to transfer your funds to the institution before your program starts. So again, just keeping the timing in mind, which links into the next question of what if my Ed Award's expiring soon? What if I haven't received it yet? How does the timing all work? So again, you'll need to be able to use your funds on future education costs, but you can, let's say your education award is expiring next week or in a month, you can transfer it to Warren Wilson now and then use it within a year of traveling. So you can still plan your experience ahead of time. with that. So if you have any questions, again, just be in touch about the timing. How can I feel confident in the program before committing? I'm not sure if you're familiar with Trustpilot, but it's an external website where we have more than 2,000 independent reviews from volunteers and interns who have joined our programs. And you can see we have a 4.8 out of 5 star rating on Trustpilot. You can also visit each individual destination page to see reviews from volunteers or interns. So if you're looking for something destination specific, you can see that there. We have a blog post from Chelsea who used her education award to be scuba certified in Belize this summer, so you can read more about her experiences with us. And we were recently recognized by goabroad.com for both our volunteer as well as intern abroad as the top provider of the year. And that's an award we are proud to say that we regularly receive. You can also check out our impact report. So if you're wanting to understand a bit more about the volunteer programs and what the impact has on the local community, you can take a look at our annual report there. And we have a few minutes. I'm going to share a quick video from an AmeriCorps alum, Dana, who attended one of our info sessions on a Thursday, and by Monday she was planning a trip to Jamaica the following week. So I asked Dana if she would share a few insights about her experience. So I'll share that video now. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. So we'll hear from Dana.
Hi, I'm Dana Mitchell, and I am here to tell you about this amazing opportunity with IVHQ and traveling abroad for volunteer services. So, I am an alumni through AmeriCorps AMPAC reading program. I serviced for 2 years and received the Segal Award. And with that, I had questions about how can I use this educational award if I don't want to go back to school or take any of the other offerings that they say we can use it for. Well, we had a presentation for IVHQ and it was a no-brainer. Everything that IVHQ describes and how they explain things to you is exactly what it will be. So one of the questions I was asked was, what inspired me to use my AmeriCorps Education Award for an international volunteer program with IVHQ? And I will say that the amazing opportunity to travel to an array of places beyond my imagination. I mean, South America, Central America, the Caribbean, it was endless. And so with that, I decided if I can use my educational award this way to immerse myself into a different community in a different country and to help children read, to help them with their education, that would be amazing for me. And no, you're not limited to education. There's so many other things that you can do, which I'm sure they explained. So my inspired motions pretty much came from just having an opportunity to travel abroad, do something that made me feel really proud about my servicing volunteer opportunity, and being able to have just a little bit of an opportunity to vacation or travel. That's what inspired me. The next question was, how would I describe the overall experience from the planning, from preparation, and being on the ground in Jamaica? Jamaica, first of all, is an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing, amazing country that is very green. So I love that. Planning and preparation through IVHQ, if you follow exactly what they tell you to do, it's seamless. The back office is very easy to read. It's very easy to follow, but you do have to be timely from the moment you decide where you want to go and the date you would like to travel. Please make sure you're progressively checking your emails and going to your back office to do everything they ask you to do. Everything's so much easier when we follow instructions, right? That's the teacher in me. What ways did my IVHQ experience align with or build upon my passion for service and time with AmeriCorps? Because I was a reading tutor and I worked with children, the opportunity to work with children in a different country, it just spawned my emotions for wanting to do more, wanting to service beyond my own community and my own country. Being able to align with others and just know how they're living, their opportunities, what types of schools they had in Jamaica, and how they were learning, how the students accepted the type of teaching that I had the opportunity to do here was important for me because it helped me grow and know that my teaching wasn't just limited to my four walls and what I already created for myself in my life. It taught me that I can be universal. And so lastly, what would I say to others considering using their education award on an international volunteer experience? I would say, if you're thinking about it, move past your thinking and progressively read all of the information that IVHQ has to offer. I went to and I read Google reviews. I read, the other reviews that are online about it. Yes, you will get some reviews that aren't very favorable. But to that, I want you to keep in mind, most of the time reviews are built on one's own experiences, and your own experiences include your portion in what you're responsible for doing. So I would say run, do it. It will grow you. It will make you much more appreciative of the gift that you're carrying inside for service. And it will allow you to service outside of what you could even ever imagine, especially in a beautiful place that is surrounded with wonderful people who want us to immerse ourselves into the community so that we can go away with an appreciation of what others are doing and how they're living. Being able to, experience the food and the culture is a privilege, and you should be able to do that. So with that being said, I'm not going to hold you long because it's so easy for me to talk about such an amazing experience. I hope that you all decide to go and take advantage of this very, very significant opportunity. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. They have my information, and I will be glad to answer any questions you have. Enjoy.
All right, a huge thanks to Dana. She is absolutely wonderful, and I love how candid she is in her experiences and insights. She's planning another experience with us, and so it's amazing to be connected. Here you can see our websites if you're interested in checking out either Volunteer HQ or Intern Abroad HQ. As I mentioned, this is just an example of what those filter features look like. So that's step one, is to really explore and to see if there's a program out there that speaks to you. I'm always happy to hop on a call. So if you'd like to do some brainstorming or to talk through what the next steps or the process looks like, please feel free to schedule a time. Again, you're welcome to do that right now, or I'll send a follow-up message to anyone on this call, and we can be connected in that way. So please feel free to schedule a time if it would be helpful to chat. Otherwise, you're always welcome to call the office for free during New Zealand business hours. So if you're in the US, the afternoon or the evening is when my colleagues are available and always happy to chat. So with that, just one final piece of advice from an AmeriCorps alumni. If you're on the fence, do it scared. This is a quote that AmeriCorps alumni Brittany shared with us, and I love her encouragement to step outside your comfort zone and to experience something new, something different, something you might not otherwise be able to do in this fashion as a tourist. You're able to be connected with a local community in a really well supported and exciting, impactful way. So if you're on the fence, Brittany says do it, even if you're hesitant or scared. And with that, I'll say thank you to everyone for your time today, for joining this call. You can see our campus team email address here, campus@hqtravelgroup.org. I'll also pop my email address into the chat, and we'll open it up for questions. So please feel free to unmute or add any questions that you might have in the chat, and we will get those answered.
Hey, Crystal, we did have one question come through. I'm wondering if you can help answer it. Can a 55-year-old go on a trip and take an adult child with them and use the Segal Award for both people? And do both people have to take the college course?
Great question. So if you are 55 or older, you can transfer some or all of your education award funding to a dependent. So as long as it's a child, a grandchild, a stepchild, foster child, one of your dependents, you can transfer your funding to that individual and they can use it in the same fashion that you could. In order to use the Ed Award, you would need to pursue at least one of those academic credits. So yes, both would be required to take the college course as well. So great question. Okay, and yes, we'll be happy to share the recording with you, Izzy. Thanks for the question. Any other questions from anyone on the call?
I already asked this and I was just told to email you, but I did want to ask about if I was interested in traveling with a dog, how likely that would be if he's ESA registered.
Is he a service animal?
Emotional support, but not service animal.
Okay, great question. So that is something that we would explore with our colleagues, the program managers at Intern Abroad HQ or IVHQ, because it will certainly depend on the destination whether or not that's possible. So did you share your question or your email address in the chat?
Yes, but I was also just gonna email you outside of
Okay,
this because I have like to give you a rundown.
perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Happy to follow up with you on that. We can do some exploring on our end first and then be in touch. Okay, any other questions? Fantastic. Well, thank you all again so much for joining today, for your great questions, and we hope to be connected with you in the future. Again, please feel free to be in touch with me or our general campus account. That's hqtravelgroup.org, and I'll share the recording from today with anyone on the call. So thank you again for today and for your commitment and service to AmeriCorps.